Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. My name is Marc Farzetta, and we're going to talk some Phillies baseball today. We're going to talk about Corey Knebel, how he cannot be the closer anymore. I got one set that just kind of blows my own mind. I'll get into that, and I'll also get into this Phillies lineup and Rhys Hoskins being back in his Rhys Lightning mode, which is all great. But the bottom line is that the Phillies lost yesterday, and during football season, I like to do a little different variation of the Farzy 5. It really highlights or lowlights the people that have either really made me happy during the game or have really pissed me off. There are three people that really pissed me off during last night's loss to the Miami Marlins. And if you watched the show yesterday, there's a couple of things, a couple of corrections I actually want to get involved in for yesterday's show. And there's just overall agitation that is left from yesterday's show. I didn't feel like they were going to win this game. I thought when you had even though it was a left-handed pitcher with an ERA +5, I didn't feel like the Phillies were really going to get to Rogers yesterday. And you know, they ended up doing that thanks to Rhys Hoskins. But I just didn't feel like they were going to win. I felt like they were going to make Game 3 of this series today at 105. I felt like they were really going to make that count. They're really going to make that mean something. So let's get into this. There are three people in last night's Phillies game that really pissed me off. I'm going to start at the bottom of this list. All right, so the person that pissed me off the least, JT Realmuto. I'm at a point where give him a break, give him a week off, go with Stubbs. I don't know what he could do at this point with JT Realmuto, but he started out the season hot, and then he has cooled off dramatically. Multiple times over this Phillies stretch, he has come to the plate with runners in scoring position, or he's come to the plate even with the bases loaded, and he has failed to capitalize for this team. Last night, you at least got him up at the plate with the bases loaded in a one-out situation, and he grounded out to the shortstop and got an RBI ground out. Whoopee! Before that, he has an opportunity where he comes to the plate with the bases loaded with one out, and he grounds into an inning-ending double play. It has happened time and time again with JT Realmuto at the plate. You can't afford for him to then be average at best behind the plate. So offensively, we could talk about his numbers and how he's struggling in that regard. Defensively, we should never be talking about JT Realmuto riding the struggle bus. And the perfect example of that, obviously, is the ninth inning drop of the foul ball off the bat of Aguilar before he ended up hitting the game-winning ball into right field. But that's a ball that he always catches. He can't afford in that position to drop that baseball. But even earlier, he has an opportunity to throw out a runner who had a great jump, Williams did, in that ninth inning. JT Realmuto fires to second base, a low throw, not on the side of the tag. Didi Gregorius couldn't handle it, but he one-hopped it, essentially. And I know it's a quick transition, but a guy that is constantly touted as the best catcher in baseball, let's roll that up for a second and throw that phrase out of the window for a second. But this is a guy that is just underperforming drastically, and you can't afford a guy like him who has been struggling at the plate to also struggle behind the plate as a guy that's supposed to be one of the best catchers in baseball, at least. Wasn't just a bad game. It's been bad games from him from the plate as a hitter, and now you're watching bad games from him behind the plate. Can't afford that, especially in a close ball game, especially when you know in that close ball game, you're going to be handing the ball to Corey Knebel, which brings me to the guy I'm second most pissed at on this list. I'm done. He can't be the closer anymore. And I'm all for trying Sir Anthony Dominguez in that role. And I know he gave up to the home run. I know he gave up a home run last night. I don't care. He's a better pitcher than Corey Knebel and needs to be given the closer's reins. I thought it was interesting last night that after Corey Knebel blew that game, I thought it was interesting that Ruben Amaro Jr. was on the postgame show on NBC Sports Philly, and he said he's either hurt or he's got something else wrong with him. If a player's playing, I'm never going to assume that they're hurt until something comes out. Like, for instance, Zach Eflin, who actually pitched okay. He gave him 4 runs, but he pitched okay. He settled in nicely, right? Had to leave the game because of knee soreness. And after the game, Rob Thompson said, yeah, it was knee soreness. At the time, you're like, why 80 pitches? What the hell's going on here? I'm not going to assume that he's hurt. Turns out that was the case. Corey Knebel, I'm not assuming he's hurt until somebody says, yeah, he's got an issue. Haven't talked to him yet, says Rob Thompson after the game. But I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to catch up with him, and I'm going to let you guys know what's going on. We'll let you hear. There's 2 questions asked of Rob Thompson after the game about Corey Knebel and his closer status from this point on. We'll let you hear from Rob Thompson coming up in a second. But regardless of hurt, regardless of just struggling, whatever it is, the guy can't be the closer anymore. If you look at the Major League Baseball statistics right now, and you look at closers, Corey Knebel's the only guy that has 10-plus saves and more than 15 walks. So it's like he's getting the opportunities. In 25 innings, he's got 16 walks. As a closer, you can't be giving up that many free passes. And his, 4th blown save? What are you doing? Everybody is past the point. We've been past the point of watching Corey Knebel. And you know what? When Joe Girardi was still here and Corey Knebel was at least willing to pitch on the 3-day, work a 3rd day in a row, work a 4th day in a row, I give him credit for that, for at least wanting to take the baseball, because not a lot of pitchers are like that. Full marks for that. Good for you. But maybe he shouldn't be given the baseball in that 9th inning anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm done with watching Corey Knebel in that 9th inning in that closer's role. Rob Thompson, after the game, was asked a couple of times about it. Here's where Rob Thompson stands.
Do you have to consider something different for the 9th inning just because Corey hasn't thrown enough strikes here?
Yeah, I don't know whether Corey was rusty from 3 days off or there's still something going on. I haven't talked to Corey, but yeah, he wasn't very sharp tonight for sure.
Is that decision to pull him only in the sense that he's your closer and what it can mean, for him?
Yeah, it was tough, and especially an experienced guy like that, and I do trust him, but it just looked really rusty, and I thought it was, we had maybe a better shot with Bilotti at that moment.
Next save situation, is Corey your guy?
We'll discuss it, I haven't talked to Corey about anything or the other relievers. So.
All I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. Corey Knebel is no longer the closer of the Philadelphia Phillies. Did Rob Thompson say that? No. But if he was going to be the closer, Knebel's our guy. That's what I would assume I'd hear from the Phillies manager. That's what I would assume I would hear from the Phillies manager. Is Knebel still our guy? Nah, I still got confidence in Knebel. He's going to be our guy. He's going to be our guy is what I was looking to hear. I didn't hear it. Now I have hope that he actually won't be the guy in the 9th inning if there's a save situation coming up in today's ball game where the Phillies are trying to win a series against the Marlins. Is it possible? Could they win a series against the Marlins? Could they win, 4 series in a row? Crossing my fingers. But I just don't need to see in a close ball game Corey Knebel coming out in that 9th inning to try to lock things down. It's like of all the closers, quote unquote, in baseball, Corey Knebel, I think there's about 6 guys that might have, or 7 guys that have more saves than him. Some have as many. But when it comes to the walks, holy pots and pans, my man. That ain't cool. To be in the top 10 of closers as far as saves goes, and then in the top 1 when it comes to walks. That's not good. That's bad. And I don't need that in the 9th inning anymore. Sir Anthony Dominguez, when he first came up and he was throwing fire before he lost all those years due to injury, he was a guy that a lot of people were looking at to take on the closer's role. It has to be rattling around in his mind right now to be able to go into the 9th inning and close things out for the Phillies. I'd love to see him get that opportunity. Even if it's Corey Knebel, he's got a little elbow tweak. We're going to give him a couple days off. He's day to day. Even if it's just that. All right, test run for Sir Anthony Dominguez. Get out there, do your thing. Please. It's by no means something that's been going on as long, but it's like looking at a guy like Odubel Herrera and just waiting for someone like Mickey Moniak or Matt Vierling even, or last year Adam Hazley before he disappeared off the face of the earth. Yeah, that's a name. And like looking back to that and going, just please take the reins. Make the decision easier for the Phillies front office to say, you absolutely 100% can no longer give Odubel Herrera reps. Mickey Moniak's hitting the cover off the ball, whatever. It's just not happening. Well, give Sir Anthony Dominguez that chance. Put him in the closer's role. Or at least, hey, a couple days you're going to be closer. Knebel, you give a couple days up. It's a break. He's got a little tweak in the elbow. See what you got. That's what I want to see this Phillies team do today, if the opportunity presents itself. Sir Anthony Dominguez trots out of the bullpen in the 9th inning to try to close things out in a 4-2 ball game. Let's see that happen. Let me cross my finger. Let me fish a wish for that to happen, because I just haven't seen it from Corey Knebel this year. The guy's willing to take the ball whenever he's called upon. Love it. Not enough guys like that in Major League Baseball anymore. I just need the production to be better. Love the mentality. That's great. So he's number 2 on my number 2. But he blew the set. Well, you know what? The Phillies ended up Familia. It was terrible. Phillies bats were obviously great, so I'm not pissed at them. You mentioned JT Realmuto, Corey Knebel right before him. Who else can I be pissed at? Jazz Chisholm Jr. Folks, some people might say I have a screw loose, but I don't believe in beanball. I don't believe in hitting guys in the head. I don't believe in throwing at guys. I don't believe in, I believe in throwing inside if somebody's crowding the plate. I mean, that's part of the game. But when a pitcher throws at somebody else for a bat flip, I'm like, all right, dude, you got hit off. You got hit a home run off you. You're a professional pitcher. Get over it. All right. That guy's going to have emotion. If you're going to strike a guy out, you're going to act like it's the worst last out in the World Series, then a batter should be allowed to bat flip and without any retribution. But when Chisholm hit that home run yesterday off Sir Anthony Dominguez and was shooting a jump shot around first base, round second base, and he's driving my car, I'm cruising. And then he gets into the dugout. He puts a football helmet on, which I guess is the Marlins home run hat, rally hat, whatever. The Phillies had that huge, like, sombrero-type garden hat, whatever the hell that was a couple years ago. That's for celebration, fine. But then he's still hot dogging it into the bullpen, or excuse me, in the dugout, having himself a grand old time. I don't mind celebrations. I don't mind emotion in the game. In everything in life, there should be emotion. It makes life beautiful. Everything in life. But when you're hot dogging it that much for your entire trip around the base paths, I am fully green lighting beanball. You smoke the next guy. You throw at him, little chin music, whatever it might be, because that was BS around the plate. And look, I should be more pissed at the Phillies players for essentially underperforming. Corey Knebel, fine. But that's bigger than just this one game. And you know what? I remember when Charlie Manuel was on this show, the last baseball season, as a matter of fact. Charlie had a great point, and it was about celebrating. And it went so far beyond the idea of like an older baseball mind, a more experienced veteran baseball mind of Charlie Manuel, talking, offering a critique of the younger baseball minds of today. Where he said it wasn't a matter of somebody yelling at a cloud because of celebrations or whatever, play the game with a stone face. No, it wasn't like that. Charlie's point wasn't that, hey, don't let the guys have fun. Charlie's point was when you celebrate like that, when you hit a home run in a game and you're losing your mind, it just keeps on bringing you up. And the higher you go, the more room there is to fall. And Charlie's point was, if the highs are that high, then that means the lows are going to be pretty damn low. And in baseball, you got to stay even keel. You can't get too high, you can't get too low, because the minute you get too low, that's when you go in an 0 for 30 slump. And that was Charlie's point. It wasn't, how dare these people be happy? His point was, no, there's a science to it. There's a methodology to it. There's a method to the madness here. You don't want to get too high here because, baseball's a very humbling game. And the minute you think you have the game humbles you. And that was Charlie's point. I think that was a great point. And overall, I don't mind guys celebrating the bat flip, the fist pump. Reese Hoskins doing the, rock on to the bullpen when he rounds second base. I don't mind that. But the whole, as Gary Matthews used to say, Sarge used to say, he's in a Cadillac. That's a little too much Cadillacing for me. That's a little too much Cadillacing for my liking. I would have fully greenlit any chin music, any high heat thrown Chisholm's way as the game went on, because that was BS. And coupled with the fact that I didn't like the idea that the Phillies were blowing the game again after the offense was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. It was rather frustrating to watch the way that played out yesterday. Phillies once again at 500 at 31-31. And overall, this game, just looking over some gosh darn notes from last night. You had Realmuto came to the plate with the bases loaded, grounded into a double play. That was in the first inning. Then Realmuto got the bases loaded again with one out, as I mentioned, grounds into that RBI ground out. Almost not a double play because it wasn't enough time. Hoskins was able to tie things up in the fourth inning, which was great with the 3-run home run. Bohm took the lead in this game, in case you missed it last night, with a 6-4 lead with an RBI single, two-run single to center field, which was nice. And then Familia just got shelled in the seventh. Hoskins in the ninth inning had an opportunity to pick a play by Bohm after Bohm picked a hot shot down the third base line, fired to first, and Hoskins wasn't able to pick it, so the leadoff man was on. That's when Williams' leadoff man was able to take second base in that with the steal on Realmuto's very best catcher in baseball-like throw. So that was unfortunate. Then Knebel walks two guys, including Chisholm. And then Knebel allowed the RBI single to tie things at 9. They go to Bellotti. Bellotti comes in and is unable to seal the deal for the Phillies, at least close things off. One of the things Rob Thompson did say after the game was that Bellotti did pitch. He thought he pitched well despite the hit given up to Aguilar. And, Realmuto usually catches that ball. But overall, just frustrating. And as much confidence as I had in the Phillies going into this game, in terms of just how their overall play, as I told you guys yesterday, I didn't feel like this was going to be a win. I felt like this was a game they were supposed to win 12-3. I think it was the score I threw out. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to win this game by. Eflin had some trouble in the early goings of this game, and then the bullpen had a lot of trouble throughout this game. And they just, for whatever reason, the arms didn't have it. The bats certainly had it. And it just didn't feel like a game. Like, I didn't feel like the Phillies were at a point where they were just going to be able to, we as a fan base at least, or even the Phillies even as a ball club, we're just going to dismiss, they're going to win the first two games, and they're going to win this series. At least you have that in your back pocket. Go for the sweep on Wednesday. Yeah, not the case, unfortunately. I didn't have a good feeling going into this game, and it turns out that the number one culprit for this game, and this game being a loss, the number one reason why you're still trying to win this series now and not already having the series win and possible sweep in your back pocket here, is because of the bullpen. And I just didn't have a good feeling going into this game. I felt like the good times were pretty damn good, winning, 10 of 11, and now 10 of 12? If the Phillies are able to pull this win out, it'll still be a huge win for the Phils, winning this series. Then they got the 5-game series against Washington Nationals, try to win at least 3 of those games, and then you'll see what they can do going forward. As you heard, Rob Thompson said after the game, like I said, Zach Eflin, still waiting to see what's going on with him, just had knee soreness. I believe he's going to undergo an MRI today to figure out what's going on with him, and hopefully he won't miss any time, as the Phillies will, of course, need him in the starting rotation. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. Yesterday, I said I wanted to get a couple of corrections going here from yesterday's show. Let me get a couple of corrections in from yesterday's show. When Rob Thompson went on his rant about L.A. yesterday, not his rant, I went on the rant. Rob Thompson just said that they beat L.A. at a low time. He wasn't talking about the Dodgers. He was definitely talking about the Angels. Somebody pointed that out to me in the comments after the show, and I went, well, let me give that another listen. And, yeah, because then he also talked about going from L.A. to then, the Brewers and all that. I'm like, man, he was talking about the Dodgers, or excuse me, the Angels there. I just could never think about L.A. as the Angels. First off, as a guy who grew up in the California Angels era of baseball and then transitioned to a Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and then Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and now the L.A. Angels. It's like, I don't even know what you call it. You're Mike Trout. You're Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. That's who you are. Like, just be glad that I know that Mike Scioscia isn't managing your team anymore. So my mind, when it comes to L.A. and baseball, will always go to the Dodgers. So, miscusi for all that. But rather, just wanted to make that correction from yesterday. And then, damn it. Rob Thompson's supposed to be the guy to trust the young guys. Moniak gets sent down. So I'm doing this little rant about how Nick Castellanos has been a great champion for the younger players, and he's highlighting how Rob Thompson's giving these younger guys like Moniak an opportunity to have to work themselves out of ruts at the major league level. I guess the guy that is really given the opportunity right now is Bryson Stott. And I don't think it's any coinky-dink that Bryson Stott happens to be the boy of Bryce Harper. And as I have said, it's not Bryce Harper's clubhouse. It's not Bryce Harper's front office. It's Bryce Harper's franchise. And I think Bryce Harper's the guy that has a lot of influence on what this baseball team does. Whether he wants to admit it and acknowledge it to the media or not, I think Bryce Harper has a lot of influence on what this baseball team does. Mickey Moniak's not getting that opportunity with the Phils to try to work through early struggles in his season. Now, Moniak is batting .160 with a .250 on-base percentage. He has 4 hits in 25 at-bats at the major league level, and he still has yet to hit a home run this season, obviously. So for Moniak, I understand why they would want to send him down. I don't understand why now. They want to bring Munoz up. They brought Munoz up. He got more major league experience, barely, but he's got more major league experience, so they wanted to go with somebody with a little bit more experience, bring in somebody to play the infield also in the utility role. So that's the direction they decided to go. The only negative thing I have is it's pretty much the most obvious negative thing, which is, well, where's the opportunity to try to work through it? I don't think Moniak is going to be down there in the minors for a long time. I think that they're going to try to find his swing again over a more extended period of time, but I don't think it's going to be a very long time. I expect Mickey Moniak to be back in the majors in the next couple weeks at most. But I'm watching him, and I'm just seeing a guy who needs the opportunity to catch up to the major league level. I think you have seen that from Bryson Stott. I give credit to Bryce Harper. I give credit to Rob Thompson for giving him that opportunity. Now I just want to see that same opportunity for Moniak. And yes, absolutely has a lot to do with the fact that he's the number 1 overall pick of the Phillies. Give him that opportunity to have success. Give him that opportunity to succeed. Need a long, sustaining run at the major league level. He's going to have to earn it as well. But I think you're going to have enough of a platoon situation with some other guys where you could have Matt Vierling play other positions, of course, in the outfield and in the infield as well, at third base like he has at second base like he did all of a sudden 2 days ago. I think you have enough spots around the diamond to platoon to make an excuse at least to get Mickey Moniak in center and get him some reps. Odubel Herrera playing right field as well isn't the worst thing in the world to give Nick Castellanos a break, because I think Bryce Harper is getting that Aguilar ball. I think Herrera is getting that Aguilar ball. I just don't think Nick Castellanos is getting to that ball as he did not last night. So that's something that I want to see the Phillies try to improve upon over the next couple of days, is giving him an opportunity. Next couple of weeks is giving Mickey Moniak an opportunity again at the major league level to try to get things done. But overall, to recap, Real Muto, good God, man. Knebel and Chisholm. Good Lord, man. Good Lord. Let me tell you about the great people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. My man Mike Seibert, a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC and a partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. And maybe next year, the Flyers. Get to them in a second. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up your current enjoyment of your income? Don't do that. The answer is to have income streams in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective to get to the top of the mountain, or is the objective just to get to the top of the mountain and then back down the mountain safely? You're not going to live at the top of the mountain. You want to come down. That way you can share all your selfies of you at the top of the mountain. At least that's what I think people do. But it only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work, ladies and gentlemen. Going up the mountain is your accumulation phase. Going back down the mountain is your distribution phase. These are the different phases of your financial life, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning, saving for kids' college education. I know I'm saving for my kids' college education. Let Mike show you an efficient way to help you pay for your kids' college education and still retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over again by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle and have to start over. You can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up for the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without having to start your growth cycle over again. Mike will show you a portal and open up a portal for you in Retirement Analyzer. Then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, you can email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds@1847financial.com, or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website. Visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds, ladies and gentlemen. And let's go Phillies. Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. Now, what's the perfect price? Do you have a promo code? No, I don't have a promo code. Yeah, do you have a coupon? No, there's no coupon. Do I go in there and try to catch a sale? Kind of, because the sale is every day. At Steven Singer Jewelers, he wants you to feel like you're welcomed like family when you walk in the door. And family doesn't want to put pressure on you. They want you to feel welcome. So when you walk in there, you're not going to have to negotiate. You're not going to have to haggle. You're not going to have to worry about if you're getting the best deal. Is the person next to me getting a better deal than I am? Where's the deal? The deal is, all around you at Steven Singer Jewelers, because that's the perfect price guarantee. And that's why I send not just you, but also my family. I send to Steven Singer Jewelers when it comes to that time to get engaged, when it comes for that special gift, when it comes to that anniversary. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price every single day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. See my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Our guests on this fine program are always brought to us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. And when you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about Versus Game, people? You downloading that right now? Check this out. There's the logo. One more time for y'all. Download the Versus Game app to your phone right now. Follow Farzy Show and answer this question. Now, let's see. We got a couple of days left in this. The question for this week: how many home runs will Bryce Harper hit? Will he hit more than 3 home runs over the 8-game stretch that they have of games in the division? So far, goose egg. No home runs for Bryce Harper over this 8-game stretch thus far. Kyle Schwarber has taken over the team lead in home runs with 16. Bryce Harper is right behind him with 15 on the season. Of course, it doesn't hurt that Bryce Harper is also hitting .318, so that's pretty nice as well. But will he hit more than 3 home runs this week, essentially? You can answer that question at Farzy Show. Maybe today's the day he goes off. Who knows? You can answer that at Farzy Show on the Versus Game app, so download the Versus Game app. Win yourself some money. It's always a yes or no question. It's always this or that. It's always binary, folks. So make sure you chime in right there on the Versus Game app. Download it to your phone and let the games begin. How about Freestone Farm CBD, ladies and gentlemen? Freestone Farm CBD. I'm sure you tried a lot of other brands, but how about this? If you're a CBD person or you're looking to be a CBD person, check out FreestoneFarmCBD.com and get 20% off your CBD order when you use promo code Farzy. That's right, promo code Farzy. Get you 20% off at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. The menu is something you'll absolutely have to check out with strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayox that clocks into the chart topping 24.1%. And Super CBD, which is half Hindu Kush, and 21%. The genetics of these guys are absolutely fantastic. They grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. After harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. Does anybody else think of pepperoni when they think of that? No? Okay. Just one look or smell. Or maybe Soprasat. Just one look or smell. If you got the munchies, I'll tell you right now, Soprasat's the way to go. I know it's just one look or smell, you'll know it's CBD done right. And it's perfect for someone that's looking to take a more natural approach to what they're putting in their body. Oh, and like I said, 20% off upon checkout when you use promo code Farzy. That's 20% off when you use promo code Farzy at checkout on Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsStation.com. Before I get to the chat check, there was a report from Kevin Weeks, I believe of TSN now, that the Philadelphia Flyers have offered their head coaching position to John Tortorella. Folks, I care about the Flyers. Oh, God, I love them. I really do. I grew up a bigger Flyers fan than I was an Eagles fan. I just loved the Flyers. And my guy was John LeClair, and I love John LeClair. And I really, when we were going through the days of the Flyers recycling former players as coaches, we were always thinking to ourselves, and Mike Sealski, give him credit, Mike Sealski was the guy to ask, well, is this culture the right culture? And the late, great Ed Snyder saying, all right, we have a winning culture. Fact of the matter is the Flyers haven't won the Stanley Cup since those 70s teams, as every Flyers fan knows. I don't know if John Tortorella is the best man for this job. I think Barry Trotz actually is the best man for this job. It turns out that it looks like the Flyers want to go in a different direction. I don't understand for the life of me why John Tortorella would want this job right now. Who's your guy? The Flyers had a pretty intense coach for a while, briefly, with Alain Vigneault. John Tortorella is 1,000 times more intense than Alain Vigneault. If you're looking for guys to not be gripping their sticks too tight, if we're looking for guys to capitalize in the offensive zone like the Flyers were just not able to do last year time and time again, or if they were capitalizing, they'd be breaking down towards the end of the period, allowing goal after goal, and they'd be up 3-2, then it'd be 3-3. Next thing you know, it's 5-3 in favor of the opponent. There were so many opportunities for the Flyers to actually, put other teams away last year, and they just couldn't do it. And now John Tortorella is going to be the guy to lighten things up a bit. Oh, well, maybe they need more intensity. Yeah, I know that's what I always grew up saying about the Flyers, but that still didn't, nobody was more intense than Ed Snyder. I know he wasn't on the bench every single time, but man, if you listen to guys that would talk about it in the dressing room for the Flyers, they would talk about all the pressure that was on him because of the owner. And now you're putting John Tortorella on the bench, possibly, has to accept the position. Hey, look, I like people that are intense. I'm a big fan of people that are intense. Peter Laviolette is one of my favorite Flyer coaches of all time. And that man was intense. Even more intense when you watch him in HBO 24/7 leading up to the Rangers game against John Tortorella on HBO for the Winter Classic. John Tortorella, I think, makes Peter Laviolette look like the good, like the kind parent. Like, you don't ask that parent for the thing because they're too strict. You'll ask the kind parent. Can I go to the movie? Yeah, you can go to the movies. The other parent, no, not going to do it. John Tortorella, I'll say this. I don't think many people are going to doubt the intensity of the coach when it comes to John Tortorella being the bench boss. If that's the direction the Flyers end up going, hold on, folks. Because whatever direction the Flyers are going to go, if it's going to be successful, it's going to be beautiful. If it's going to go south, good God, man. That's where it's going to be entertaining as well. John Tortorella doesn't mince words. He'll call out media members. He'll call out players. But he'll fight for his team. And that's something that I will at least look forward to and be optimistic about. He's a Stanley Cup winning coach. He did it at the expense, like I said yesterday, of the Flyers. Not to give you a history lesson, but what he did with Tampa Bay before they were on the verge of a three-peat. Tampa Bay Lightning, 4 Stanley Cups possibly. Flyers 2. 3 of those over the last couple years. 3 years. Possibly. This is fun. But as Flyers fans, we always want to look at the bench and say that guy that's leading the ship, that's the captain of the ship, if you will. We always want to look at that person as if they are affected by wins and losses, just as we are affected by wins and losses. That's one thing John Tortorella, besides all the experience that he has, that's one thing that John Tortorella will absolutely bring to that bench. You will know that whatever emotion you're feeling in the stands or at home watching these games, that same emotion and intensity will be right there behind the players that are either flourishing or turtling up with John Tortorella as their head coach. Look, from a selfish standpoint, I want to play John Tortorella clips because I think the guy is hilariously honest. But I think the better man for the job is Barry Trotz. And that just doesn't look like it's going to go down. So we'll see how that shapes up in the not-too-distant future. I mentioned PHL Sports Nation. Yes, I did. PHL Sports Nation, enhancing all your Philadelphia sports fan experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our chat check today. By the way, I got a message from our boy Dan. Dan Schwartz is one of our OGs in the chat. He's training somebody new for work between 5 and 7. So we miss out on Dan's sprinkled enthusiasm and wonderful things that Dan always likes to say. But let's start it off now with our chat check here. Sean, what's going on? Tyvita? April, good morning. Yeah, Tyvita. So, Sean, good morning, all. Tyvita, yay, I'm first. April, good morning. Tyvita, damn you, Sean. Laugh out loud. Sorry, Tyvita, but hey, you're still one of the number ones in my heart. How about that? April, hello. Sean, I love it when you guys are so kind and welcome each other. Mally, what's popping? Sean, hello again. All the pleasantries. So Mally always starts out with "smoke 'em if you got 'em," and I enjoy this chime in by Kyle. Smoke 'em, Mally dog. Mickey Diaz, good morning, and God bless everyone this morning. Mickey, God bless you. By the way, Mickey, I got to ask you. I got a Facebook friend request from a Michael Diaz. Is that your real name? Do you go by Mickey? First off, Mickey's a great nickname. Like Mickey, like if I meet anybody and they're like, "Hey, I'm Mickey," I'm like, "I'm not forgetting your name." Then boom, that's it. That's like one name that I am locked in on. The only other one is Marc. That's me. And Tom, by the way, because there's like 5 Tom Farzettas. But anyway, let's see. Mickey says, "Good morning, Mally. Tell me, I told you all of their pitchers are horrible. Eflin is okay sometimes." Tyvita, if we could just get you in the Phillies dugout, talking to Rob Thompson and be like, "Hey, man, Knebel sucks. Can we get Sir Anthony Dominguez in there? He sucks not as much." I don't think he sucks at all. But I'm just saying that might be how you sell it to Rob Thompson. Tyvita, give me Nola every day. What about Zach Wheeler? What about Zach Wheeler, huh? I like Zach Wheeler. Kevin, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Kevin, happy Wednesday. Tyvita, can we just have Nola and Wheeler? There you go. Like Little League. Mally says, Tyvita, we just need Nola and Wheeler to start every game. Brilliant strategy. I'm in. Thank you. Rob wants to try and be a Little League coach and let everybody play. Tyvita, I think the Phillies over the last 11 games or so, as I've said, with guys like Matt Vierling stepping up and Bryson Stott stepping up and guys helping them win like that, like, basically what you're talking about is the team's depth chart. And if they're able to win 10 of 12, which is still pretty damn good, which is where they stand right now, then I'll keep banging that drum, man. I'll keep banging that drum to keep on using guys that are giving you good at-bats. Like Matt Vierling, for instance, came up at a crucial at-bat and ended up ending the game last night, but he's also helped win you a couple of games in his limited time at the Major League level this year. And Car Shield commercials, come on! What else? Wow, Tyvita, I automatically expect a loss if Nola isn't pitching. If they don't lose without him, they struggled to win. They've won like 10, like there's 10 of 12. Tyvita, I love you. Why is it with Philly sports, it's always Eagles linebacker, Phillies pitching, Flyers goalie, and the Sixers help for Joel Embiid? I don't get it. Well, these are the biggest problems. And I will say this, they're some of the most difficult problems to try to nail down. I feel like even beyond Phillies pitching, it's really more specifically Phillies bullpen. Actually, you know what? I meant to look that up in my travels because I was trying to keep track of the blown saves, and ESPN and MLB.com don't track, and even Baseball Reference don't have a slot. They used to have a slot for blown save for the league, like who's leading the league in blown saves. And Corey Knebel, I assume, would be up there at least. But I also want to look at overall team team bullpen ERA was something I wanted to check out. And hopefully I'll be able to find that by the end of the show. We'll try that because I imagine the Phillies are pretty damn awful in that regard. What do we have here? Tyvita's all over it today. Rob starting to remind me of Girardi and Rivers. I don't know why. He's so fixated on players that you seen a million times and they can't play. I'm not going there yet, Tyvita. I'm not going there yet. Mally's done with Knebel in a Phillies uniform at all. If I could just out one player right now, if I could cut one player on the Phillies, I'm cutting Familia. If I could just snip, say it bye, I'm going with Familia. Like, you signed him to be that veteran arm, see if he had anything in the tank, see if he can help you in the later innings, be that bridge to Knebel. Oh. And no, he hasn't. He's been terrible. I don't want to see him pitch for the Phillies ever again. He doesn't have it. What else you got? April, Real Muto has definitely not been himself this last week or so. Wondering if it has something physically nagging him. If it does, again, give him a break. Like, I hate assuming injury because it makes it sound like you're like rooting for an injury sometimes. I just don't want to do that with this guy, especially JT Realmuto. And I like JT Realmuto a lot. I love his game. He has not been up to par this season. You can't have him hit 243. His on-base percentage is 314. That's not good. 3 home runs. This is a guy with 20, 25 plus home run pop. And he's certainly not being that guy. Wow, I just looked at his projections. Jeez Louise. 8 home runs is what he's projected for this season. That's god-awful. I mean, not really surprising. But yeah, you're looking at a guy that last year was down in home runs, only played 134 games, 17 home runs, 25 home runs his first year as a Philly. I want to see him get back to that marker. He played in 145 games that year. Like, 8 home runs from your catcher, especially a guy that's as good as JT Realmuto, especially playing in this ballpark. Yeah, that's disappointing. That's a disappointing projection that I'm just seeing from JT. Mally, April, I think they should just have JT some time off. Yeah, I agree. Tyvita, the Dodgers will forever be the Brooklyn Dodgers to me. It's so weird saying LA. Tyvita, how old are you? Never ask a woman her age. But if she's referencing the Brooklyn Dodgers, I kind of have to. By the way, I'm shocked to say this, but like, friends of mine from New York, like Brooklyn is, I think most people know by now, is like hipsterville. But apparently there's still signs in Brooklyn like bring back the Dodgers. Citi Field actually is, it's supposed to be a remake of Ebbets Field, at least from the outside, the arches and all that stuff. That's supposed to be a shout out to Ebbets Field. And if you've ever seen pictures of Ebbets Field, it does modeled after it, the exterior. But yeah, LA Dodgers is all I've known. They moved out there in like 55, maybe? Because I know Sandy Koufax started as a Brooklyn Dodger and was an LA Dodger. He's a bonus baby, actually. I think his bonus baby spot actually made Tommy Lasorda, miss out on a career playing really with the Dodgers. I think that's the connection between Sandy Koufax, playing career-wise, and Tommy Lasorda. Tommy Lasorda baseball, shout out, great video game, Sega Genesis. Seems like the Angels move every other year, right? Mally, the broken hand really sent Moniak back. You're absolutely right. PJ, I would love to get the spring training version of Mickey Moniak as soon as humanly possible. Mickey Diaz, a solidified center field would be huge for the fighting Phils for sure. That would be nice. I would love to see it. We haven't seen it since really Shane Victorino? Solidified center field. And that was a Rule 5 guy. Like Herrera, for instance. Let's see. Mally, you like that half Hindu Kush, don't you? Tyvita, I've never seen a hockey game in my life, but I want to try one. I heard the Flyers used to beat people up all the time back in the day. Yes, they did. And one of the few conspiracy theories I believe in sports is that the Flyers are still paying for the sins of the 70s. It's been a minute since I've been to a hockey game. Wait, Jim Grassmeter, was last night the worst loss of the season? No, I don't think it was the worst loss of the season. I think they've had worse. They've blown games with this bullpen more than they did last night. I mean, Rhys Hoskins has just been on fire, absolute fire, and he's crushing baseballs. And it's few and far between nowadays, but man, when he is locked in, it's one of those things you just can't miss the at-bat. You have to, Rhys is up, you want to watch that. And I think I hate to use the word victim of his own success and even paint him to be a victim at all, but he gets so hot sometimes and so locked in sometimes that you're just waiting for that moment to happen. And that's where I think, and I have this argument with my one cousin can't stand the guy. My dad can't stand him. Our other cousin can't stand him. And it's like all this stuff about Rhys Hoskins. And I feel like a lot of people elevate him during these periods. Oh, this is what he can do. Yes, this is what he can do, but it's so few and far between. It's a matter of putting a month of this together. It's a matter of sprinkling these spurts throughout the season. That will give a lot more people confidence in what a guy like Rhys Hoskins is able to do on a more consistent basis. And hopefully that happens over the course of the season more than what we have seen so far. Rhys Hoskins, 249 on the season is what he's hitting. The on-base percentage for me with Hoskins is what is shocking, because this for me is something that's always been really good for him. Last year it wasn't as good. He ended up getting it up there. Now he's right around where he was last year, 334 last year. He's at 333 this year with an on-base percentage, which is fine. I'd like to see him get higher than that. We have seen him be up at the 384 mark before in his career. You get up to that mark and you start hitting bombs. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see more of from Rhys Hoskins. Especially if he's doing it at the rate that he's doing it right now. Looking over his first 14 days, I should say, in June. Yeah, 3 home runs. Not too shabby so far for him. What else do we have here? Maybe Trot said no way. It's very possible. Mickey Diaz, I asked earlier if it was him on Facebook. Yes, it was me. Accept it. I accepted it. We're friends. We're pals now on Facebook. So there you go. Enjoy the photos. Troy H. JT has been ass this year, respectfully. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm certainly not going to say you're wrong. He has been lackluster. Troy loves himself some Veerling. Phillies bullpen has been a mess since 2008. Let's be real. April, you're absolutely right. Tyvita, I miss Halladay. All right, Tyvita, did you ever answer my question about Alora? Did you ever see? No, you didn't answer my question. I'm going to assume you're younger than the Brooklyn Dodgers. Oh, man. Wow, Troy H. Want to bring back David Robertson? Gah. Want to save? That just gives me palpitations from his time here. Wow, Troy H. Familia reminding me of Luis Garcia. Pots and pans. Man, I miss Victorino, says April. Sean, 70s and 90s Flyers were the best. 90s Flyers, their 97 Cup run where they got swept by the Dodgers, by the Red Wings. That was heartbreaking. I was at Monica Daniels' 8th grade graduation party. I was in 8th grade, and I was graduating. I wasn't just crashing some 8th grade party. And I remember looking in on the game, all the guys looking in at the game, and we were all saying the same thing before the game because they were down 3-0 in the series. And we're like, Flyers are going to come out, man, and they're just going to hit guys. They're gonna hit Dino Ciccarelli, man. They're going to hit Sergei Fedorov. They're just going to beat these guys up, man. And it didn't happen. The Flyers were terrible. Lindros disappeared, blah, blah, blah. Tyvita, I'm 33 and I have an old soul. Like Charleston old. That's amazing. Tyvita, I'm an old soul as well. You know, one of these days, I have in my office here, studio, Steven Singer studio. I'll show you this I'll give you a full tour of the studio one day. And in it, I have a decanter set from my grandparents that I cherish. And it's old school, man, as you would assume. Let's look at something from the 50s. I'm like afraid to drink out of it because it feels like it's made out of, I don't know, but the glass feels like if I take a sip from the glass, it feels like it's going to just shatter in my hands into a million pieces. Oh, Kev Fitz. Metallico career ERA was 4, but he talks like he was Trevor Hoffman. I don't have a problem with guys that did not have the best career numbers that are analysts, because sometimes these guys, like for instance, Ted Williams, greatest hitter ever. Okay, the old souls. Let's talk about Ted Williams. Ted Williams, Magic Johnson, Wayne Gretzky, all guys that were some of the best ever to play the game, in some instances the best, and sub 500 coaches. Like sometimes they just can't translate it in terms of coaching. In terms of knowing it, sometimes they just walk away. Joe Montana, I believe the story is, he just walked out of the booth because he just didn't like it. I think guys, I don't have an opinion. Like when guys are mediocre or okay at their sport, but not great, not all-stars, not perennial Pro Bowlers or anything like that, but they're really good analysts, it doesn't mean that just because they couldn't perform it physically doesn't mean that they don't know it. And I think Ricky is kind of in that range. And I like guys that break, like Ben Davis, for instance, I think breaks down the game very well. I think even Ruben Amaro Jr., I think breaks down the game pretty well. Guys like that. Dan Orlovsky, I think, is one of the best analysts on the planet in all sports ever. And the guy even jokes about how he ran out of the back of the end zone. I think it's still in his Twitter profile. Husband, dad, football, end zone should be 11 yards wide. Like, and that's hilarious. And I think he breaks it down phenomenally well. Yet some people won't listen to him because, oh, he was a backup his whole career. Yeah, so what? I'm looking for a guy that has been in the locker room, has been on the field, has been on the mound in this case. That's where I'm at as far as those analysts go. But, Kevin, I understand what you're saying. I understand your point. Troy, trade JT. Wait, what? What did I mean? The old decanter set? Yeah, it's probably made out of lead. I don't know, but lead Wooder was probably in there. JJ Redick's great. I love JJ Redick. Troy, he's great. I do not do I have a DVD player? Well, kind of. I have a DVD player. My PS4 can play DVDs. In all honesty, I don't have a VCR down here. In all honesty, no, I just lost my. Oh, do you guys remember? I think they were called laser discs. They were like big, like they were the size of a record, and I think they were the forerunner to DVDs. I remember my grandmother had a whole bunch of them. She had Tron. She had Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Sound of Music. Those were the three I remember. And I wasn't allowed to watch Tron. I was allowed to watch Indiana Jones and, of course, Sound of Music. But I remember I have 21 first cousins on that side of the family, and we would all be down in the basement playing. And if we were too loud, we got a warning from Mum. And then she would say, you guys make more noise. You're going to come up and watch a movie. And we'd have to come up, and it would either be Sound of Music or Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was my favorite movie. Sound of Music was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, picture like 7-year-old me sitting through Sound of Music. What are you, nuts? And I'm scarred forever from Sound of Music. Anyway, that's my childhood. April, you still have laser discs? So they are the big square things then, the big like record album size Johns that were in a lot of the old things there. Yeah. Laserdisc, man. Oof, pots and pans. Do you trade Rhys Hoskins to get the most in return? Jim Grassmeter. I'm not trading anybody right now. I'm looking to just unload. I'm looking for addition by subtraction. Yari's Familia for me, bruh. He ain't doing it. I don't know what the Phillies really are looking for with Yari's Familia. I think you have seen enough of him so far to this point where you could just say, okay, we rolled the dice, we tried to resurrect a veteran, and it's not working. I think that's where the Phillies should be at. And unfortunately, the Phillies are not at that point. Good God. Jerry's familiar. I always mess up his name. Scoozy. Yeah, I'd rather see Bellotti get more opportunities here than Jerry's familiar. Pots and pans. Where's he at? 4.50 ERA in 25 games. Holy Lord. Yeah, I'm good, bruh. I don't need any of that. I'm good on that. Let's get to our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Thanks to everybody in the chat check. Much obliged, as per usual. You guys were on fire. Marlins, Phillies, 1:05 start time today. Kyle Gibson gets the start for the Phillies. Could be a bullpen game for the Marlins. We'll see who they're able to trot out there today. That's what the Phillies got. Looking to go one game over 500 yet again. And also at the same time, win a series against the Marlins, what feels like in forever, for the first time in forever. NBA Finals. Boston Celtics could be eliminated tonight. The game, of course, will be on ABC, so we'll look forward to that. Look forward to seeing the Boston Celtics get eliminated. I told you guys yesterday how I am absolutely rooting against the Celtics. I saw the conversation start up over the last week or so about the Sixers fans actually rooting. Excuse me, tomorrow night there's the NBA Finals. I saw some people start to look at the Celtics in a positive light as Sixers fans. Can you root for the Celtics? No, I can't. 9 o'clock start time tomorrow night as the Celtics will try to stave off elimination on their home court on the parquet floor at TD Garden in Boston. Warriors, of course, looking to close things out and not have to play a Game 7 in San Francisco. That's the Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Also wanted to give you a bounce back to baseball. I wanted to give you where we're at right now in the standings. I know it's a little earlier in the season, but my rule of thumb is if the Phillies are at 500, then I give a damn about where they are in the standings. Right now, 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. Brewers are 2 games out of the final wild card spot. The Braves occupy the final wild card spot. That's where they are right now. As far as the NL East standings go right now for the Phillies, Phillies are currently in 3rd place, 9.5 games out of first. The Braves are 5 games out of first place. They have won 13 in a row now. We're all having fun. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Also hoping to have a special guest. Make sure you guys stay tuned to social media, and I'll be posting who we will have on for tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I'm Marc Farzy. This is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job. This is Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Nice talking to everybody in the chat. See ya.